Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear first year, I welcome you all and congratulations for admission in MBBS in such a prestigious institute, Abba Medical College, and college of your own choice. This is Dr. Munazza here, and I will be teaching you subject of histology. Histology is the study of tissues of the body and how these tissues are arranged to constitute different. As you all know that the basic functional and structural unit of the human body is cell, and these cells when grouped into when they make groups and perform similar functions and have a similar structure, the group of the cells is then called a tissue. And the subject of histology involves all aspects of tissue biology with the focus on how cell structure and arrangement optimize functions specific to each organ. In histology, we study the structural details or cellular details of the organs or the tissues using microscope, and under the microscope the tissue sections are studied. And for example, we take a tissue from the intestine or heart or skeletal muscle or any other part of the body, then it undergoes different processes, and after all this processing, which is called histological preparation of the tissue is prepared into a hard medium, and then it is cut into smaller slices. You can see that this is a glass slide, and it also contains a cover slip in the center, and there are three sections of the tissue on this slide, which are prepared after all histological preparations, which the details we will come to know today. And this preparation is necessary for the study of the tissue under microscope, because the problem we face with the fresh tissues which we take in the form of biopsy is a small piece of tissue from a living person or animal or human being, and this small piece of tissue is basically not permanent. If we leave it as such, it undergoes autolysis, that the self enzymes destroy the histology or normal structure of the tissue, and it can also be infected by bacteria or other organisms, smaller organisms, and putrefaction can start into the tissues, which distort the histology of the tissue or normal structure, or the structure we want to study, it will be all distorted. So this non-preserved tissue which we take in the form of biopsy or a tissue section from different organs is to be properly preserved or fixed to prevent autolysis and putrefaction, and also this is colorless, so we cannot go into structural or cellular details like cytoplasm or the nuclei or the shape of the cells. So we have to stain it with different staining procedures and with different stains. Different stains stain the different cellular details, like cell membrane, it is stained with the silver, methenamine silver. It is properly stained if we want to see the fibrous details of the cells. Similarly, eosin and hematoxylin stain are the basic stains which stain the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Nucleus usually stains blue, and the cytoplasm is pink or acidophilic, and this purplish blue is basophilic. So to convert this tissue into which is colorless and not permanent, as well as this is very much flexible and elastic, so thin sections cannot be cut on such tissues. Like if we want to cut the thin section from an organ or a tissue which also contains fats or lipids, so it becomes very difficult. So all the tissue is to be supported into a hard medium. So conversion of this human or animal tissue which is taken from a living person or animal in the form of a small piece, biopsy, or organ. It is converted into a hard medium, which can be cut into smaller and thin slices of up to 5 or 3 micron thickness. The whole process of this conversion of a piece of tissue into slide sections is called histotechnology or histology preparation. Here you can see a small piece of tissue which is cut from a biopsy, and then this tissue is fixed. Different fixatives are used for this purpose, so that the tissue does not go into autolysis or putrefaction, and then different steps of dehydration are involved. Dehydration is always done slowly so that the tissue does not shrink, or it does not become hardened to overcome the histology or normal structure. And then clearing, infiltration, and final step is embedding. Embedding is basically the step which hardens the tissue, and embedding medium usually used is the paraffin. So tissue is fixed into the paraffin blocks. But to make this paraffin miscible with the tissues and all the cellular details, these all steps are carried out. So we will go into smaller details of these steps. Fixation is done basically to preserve tissue structure and prevent degradation by enzymes which are released from the cell or the microorganism. So the technique of getting fixed tissue into paraffin is called tissue processing. Tissue processing is designed to remove all extractable water from the tissue and replacing it with a support medium that provide sufficient rigidity to enable sectioning of the tissue without damage and distortion. So the sections have to be very thin and small. 5 micron thickness sections are usually cut for light microscopy. This all process involves different steps, and final result is a paraffin embedded block, and after this paraffin embedded block it undergoes into the cutting. The general steps in processing of the tissue is fixation. Fixation is simply preservation of the tissues in its original condition, so the microscopic details are not disturbed. Dehydration is removal of water from the tissues. Clearing is infiltration of paraffin solvent. Embedding is infiltration of paraffin wax. Microtomy is basically done with the help of a microtome, and this is cutting and preparing thin slices of the tissue. Staining is done with different stains, basic stains are eosin and hematoxylin. Different other stains are also used, like PS, periodic acid shift stain, methenamine silver, and many others. And these are just to color the tissues. Mounting is arranging tissues on the slides, and it involves putting the wrinkle free section of the tissue on the slide, and then fixing it with the help of a cover slip and medium. A fixative is described as a chemical substance which will preserve the shape, structure, relationship, and chemical constituents of the tissues and cells after removal from the body or after death, usually in the form of autopsy specimens. And the purpose of fixing agents is to preserve living tissue, to stabilize the tissue and cell structure for subsequent treatments, that is wax embedding, sectioning, mounting, and to prepare tissue for staining and optical contrast, and to harden the tissue for section cutting. Organs are placed as soon as possible after removal from the body in solutions of stabilizing or cross-linking compounds, which are called fixative. So usually small pieces of tissues are placed, or if the organs are removed, organs are cut into smaller pieces as per requirement of the sections, and then are placed in solutions of chemicals that cross-link proteins and inactive degradative enzymes. They inactivate degradative enzymes and preserve the cell and tissue structure. So tissues are cut into small fragments before fixation to facilitate penetration of the fixative. To improve cell preservation in large organs, fixatives are often introduced via blood vessels with vascular perfusion, allowing fixation rapidly throughout the tissues. The widely used fixative for light microscopy is formalin, which is a buffered isotonic solution of 37% formaldehyde. Um, for light microscopy, formaldehyde is used, but for electron microscopy, which gives much more magnification of the tissues, glutaraldehyde is used. And for light microscopy, the embedding tissue which is used or embedding medium is paraffin, but for electron microscopy, as the finer details are required, like organelles are also seen in the electron microscopy, so embedding used is plastic resin. The next step is dehydration. The tissue is transferred through series of increasingly concentrated alcohol solutions, ending in 100%, which removes all water. So the first stage of processing is the removal of free unbound water and aqueous fixatives from the tissue components. Different fixatives are used and all are removed from the tissue. Dehydration should be done very slowly, so that and different concentrations should be used gradually, so that the tissue does not dehydrate suddenly, or it does not shrink. If there is shrinkage of the tissue, it will harden the tissue first of all and will cause problem in the cutting and fixing, as well as by shrinkage the cell size and cell morphology is changed under the microscope. And to prevent all these problems, the specimens are processed through graded series of reagents of increasing concentration, and the concentration is reached up to 100%. That is usually dehydrating agent used is ethanol, methanol or alcohol, and the different concentrations are used for this purpose. Excessive dehydration may cause the tissue to become hard, brittle and shrunken, and it can excessively change the morphology, and this especially causes problems when you have to see certain disease processes into the tissues as well. And similarly, incomplete dehydration will impair penetration of the clearing reagents into the tissues, leaving the specimen soft and non-receptive to infiltration. So the tissue, if it is not properly hardened, then it will not be possible for us to cut the tissue sections properly. So there should not be over um, treatment of the tissue, as well as incomplete dehydration should also be avoided. In routine practice, dehydrating agents usually are ethanol, methanol or acetone. After the tissue is fixed with the aqueous solutions and then dehydrated, the next step is clearing. Clearing is the transition or intermediate step between dehydration and embedding. It consists of removal of dehydrant with the substance that will be miscible with both embedding medium. Embedding medium is paraffin, and dehydrating agent. And dehydrating agent we used was alcohol, and it should also be miscible with the paraffin. So most clearing agents are hydrocarbons with high refractive indices that is approaching that of the dehydrated fixed tissue protein, and on immersion anhydrous tissues are rendered transparent or clear similar to proteins, so they are termed as clearing agent. So in this step, alcohol is basically removed in organic solvents in which both alcohol and paraffin are miscible. This clearing step is very important because infiltration with the reagent used here in the clearing process gives the tissue a translucent appearance. So this is a very important step. After clearing, the fully cleared tissue is then placed in melted paraffin in an oven at usually 52 to 60 degrees centigrade, which evaporates the clearing solvent and promotes infiltration of the tissue with paraffin. and then the final step of embedding is done, and this embedding allows to harden the tissue, and this is done in small container of paraffin at room temperature. And here you can see that this this mold of stainless steel, it contains paraffin, and in the center you can appreciate the pieces of the tissue which are being embedded into the paraffin wax. In this process, the tissue is finally immersed and is surrounded by paraffin wax, and this tissue with paraffin wax is then solidified on cold plates, and this solidification provides sufficient external support, and this help in sectioning of the tissue. And the embedding medium, the ideal embedding medium should be soluble in the processing fluids, and suitable for sectioning and ribboning. You will see that the sectioning with the microtome is not a simple section. The sections are taken in the form of ribbons, and this should be molten between 30 degrees centigrade and 60 degrees centigrade, so that these ribbons, when are taken out to be taken on the in the form of sections, they should not be wrinkled. The embedding medium should flatten here. The embedding medium ideally should be translucent or transparent. It should be colorless, so that the dye take the tissue its proper color. It should be stable and homogeneous, and capable of flattening after ribboning. After ribboning, that is cutting by the microtome, it should flatten, because otherwise that there will be tissue folds, and the section will be folded, and it will not be properly studied. Should be non-toxic, because it is all handled by hands of the human beings, and easy to handle, inexpensive ideally. Paraffin wax is the most popular embedding medium in histology and histopathology. Histopathology is basically a study of diseased tissue. Histology is study of normal tissue. Paraffin wax permeates the tissue in liquid form and solidifies rapidly when cooled. So when the tissue is taken into the paraffin wax and it is placed on cold plate, so it simply makes a solid block. It has a wide range of melting points, so it is ideal for using into different climatic conditions, and it is inexpensive and provides quality sections. It is easy to handle, non-toxic, and preferable for most routine and special stains. Special stains include like PA stain, methenamine silver, and Mason trichrome, which are used for studying a specific character of the cell. Here you can see different paraffin blocks which are prepared. So if we sum up, it takes a long time, the processing of histology specimens. It is usually an overnight process, and it involves simply fixation of the tissue depending upon the size of the organ or the tissue which is to be fixed, and then dehydrating the tissue by exposing it to different concentrations of the alcohol. Then clearing is done usually by the xylene, and then infiltration and embedding by the paraffin. After this whole processing, the tissue is prepared or embedded for sectioning. The hardened block of the tissue after embedding into the paraffin wax is trimmed and placed for sectioning in the instrument. This instrument is called microtome. Paraffin sections are typically cut at 3 to 10 micron meter thickness for light microscopy, but usually preferred sections are 5 micron meter thick. But electron microscopy requires sections less than 1 micron meter thick. This is a rotary microtome. Here this is the handle of the microtome, and paraffin block is fixed over here, and section thickness is adjusted, and then the ribbons are cut along, and then the ribbons are placed in a water bath, and or the flotation water bath. This is a flotation water bath, and you can adjust the temperature of the water inside this flotation water bath to straighten the ribbons of the cut tissue. The tissue sections are placed in here. Water bath is used for floating out tissue ribbons after sectioning. The trailing end of the ribbon making contact with the water first. The temperature of the water in the bath should be 10 degrees centigrade, below the melting point of the paraffin. Alcohol or small drop of detergent may be added to the water, allowing the section to flatten out with greater ease. 30 seconds are long enough for a ribbon to flatten, and then these sections are taken up on these slides and then covered by a cover slip and fixed. For normal routine work, 76 into 25 mm slides are universally used, and those with the thickness of 1 to 2 or 1 to 1.2 mm are preferred. The final step for preparation is the staining, and staining is used to obtain contrast between the constituent parts of a tissue section. Depth of coloration is affected by chemical affinity, density, and permeability. Certain stains are metachromatic, that is, they are capable of imparting one color to certain constituents and another to the others. Most cells and extracellular materials are completely colorless, and to be studied microscopically, tissue sections must be stained or dyed. Methods of staining have been devised that make various tissue components not only conspicuous but also distinguishable from one another. And dyes stain materials more or less selectively. Often they behave like acidic or basic compounds, and they form different linkages with ionizable radicals of macromolecules in the tissues. Cell components such as nucleic acids with a net negative charge or anionic have an affinity for basic dyes and are termed basophilic. So the nuclei, they usually stain bluish or purplish, while the cationic groups, they stain more readily with acidic dyes and are termed acidophilics. So the basic dyes which are used are eosinophil and hematoxylin, and these give the tissue acidophilic and basophilic colors. Basic dyes also include toluidine blue, Alcian blue, and methylene blue. While hematoxylin behave like a basic dye, staining basophilic tissue components, the main tissue which react to basic dyes do so because of acids in their composition, like DNA and RNA and glycosaminoglycans. Acidic dyes, for example, eosin and orange stain, are acidophilic, and acidophilic component of the tissues, they stain more readily, like mitochondria, secretory granules, and collagen. The simple combination of hematoxylin and eosin is used most commonly. Hematoxylin stain DNA in the cell nucleus. This is to be remembered very clearly. RNA rich portions of the cytoplasm and the matrix of the cartilage, producing a dark blue or purple color. In contrast, the eosin, it stains other cytoplasmic structures and collagen pink. Periodic acid shift stain is also a common stain which is used in the histological preparations, and it utilizes the Hexos ring of polysaccharides and other carbohydrate rich tissue structures and stain such macromolecules as purple or magenta in color. Lipid rich structures are stained with the Sudan black. So here we see the slide. This tissue section is from the intestine, and it is a same tissue section or taken from a similar part, but this part is or this section is stained with the HNE stain, and this section is stained with the PA. So you can see the lumen of the intestine, and this is um, uh, epithelium, and here you can appreciate the nuclei which are present at different levels, and this is the goblet cell. Goblet cell is basically a unicellular gland, and it produces mucins. Here with H&E, the nuclei are stained with basophilic or purple, while the cytoplasm is stained pink, and cell regions with the oligosaccharides are the ends of the cells are also stained, while the goblet cell is not properly stained. It looks pale in staining, and it is poorly stained, while in the opposite side with the PS section, you can see that the goblet cell is properly stained and it shows a prominent dye here, because it contains mucins. And similarly, the projecting microvilli, they have a prominent layer of glycoproteins at the lumen, and goblet cell mucin rich secretory granules are present, so these are more prominently stained with the PS. So different stains have different characteristics, and they impart different colors to different sections or different parts of the cells. And we will go into further details in the next lectures, inshallah. And I think this is all enough, but before ending the lecture, I will give you little detail of the syllabus. In the coming weeks we will be discussing the topics accordingly. So in the coming weeks we will be starting cell and different parts of the cells, like cell membrane, cytoplasm, organelles, and then epithelium, and finally cell surface modifications, and tissues, and type of the tissues, and specialized connective tissue and specialized tissues, and then further inshallah special tissue like muscle, cartilage, bone, and then we will go into the details of the systems of circulatory system, skin or integumentary system, lymphoid organs, and respiratory system, inshallah. Thank you very much.